You're in an 8 square foot room of concrete blocks that you can't get out of. You have no clue what time it is, and there's no clock anywhere. The light in the room is always on, and there's no light switch to turn it off. You have a window and a door, but the door is locked and you don't have a key. You want to yell out to your family for help, but you know that it won't do any good. Feeling hopeless, you finally just lie down and think about what you're going to do. Unfortunately, you know why you're in this room. You were arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. You don't realize it yet, but this incident will affect you the hardest for at least the following year. Today, I want to talk to you about the reasons why you shouldn't even attempt to drink and drive, how it affects you financially, emotionally, including those people close to you, and ways you can prevent this from even happening. So first, let me tell you how driving under the influence affects you financially. All states have different penalties, but I want to focus on the penalties in my home state of Florida. First is the fine itself. It can range from $500 to $1,000 for your first offense and up to a minimum of $2,000 for your fourth offense. And also in the state of Florida, after 10 days of your arrest, you will lose your driver's license. In order to have your driver's license reinstated, you will have to attend a DUI driving school, which will cost you about $250 for a 3-day class. You'll also be required to have your vehicle impounded for a minimum of 10 days at your expense, which will cost about $70. Next, if it's court ordered, you'll be required to have an ignition interlock device. This device performs random breathalyzer tests on the driver in order for him to start the car and while driving the vehicle. It costs $83 to install and to remove the device, and about $67 a month to use it. Now, depending on the judgment, the device could be on your vehicle anywhere from 6 months to 5 years. That means you could pay anywhere up to $400 up to $4,000. Finally, if you can even afford to pay anymore, there's going to be the cost of hiring an attorney, which can cost you approximately $2,000 to $3,000. And once you go before the judge, you'll be on probation for at least a year, at which you'll be paying monthly probation costs of about $150 a month, totaling around $1,800. And I haven't even gotten into the insurance costs yet. Now there are countless other ways you'll be paying through the nose in fines and fees and monthly payments. This is just one side of dealing with a DUI. Another way drinking and driving can have an effect on you is how it affects you emotionally, to include your family, co-workers, and other people in your life. After you've been arrested and placed in jail until the next day, it can give you a lot of time to think about what you've done. You start by having regrets for what you've done, which quickly leads you to anger at yourself for the simple fact that you could have killed or seriously hurt someone or yourself. Then comes the despair. Then comes despair because you don't know what the incident will have on your future endeavors or your career. Finally comes the last feeling, which is guilt. You think about this last because it will more than likely involve you thinking about your family and what you're putting them through at the moment and in the future. With regards to your family, being charged with a DUI can affect them as well. They too share the emotions of shame and embarrassment as they wait for you to be released from jail. Your family will also feel angry and upset at you because the plans you might have had for summer vacation are now gone because the expenses you planned for your vacation will be used to pay for all your fines and legal fees. You'll more than likely burden your friends and coworkers by always asking them for rides in order to make your mandatory appointments or court appearances, taking them away from work. Dealing with just these small samples of hardship is obviously not worth taking the chance to drink and drive. So here are some ways you can prevent this tragic event from even happening. The obvious prevention method is to abstain from drinking and driving, period. It can be an effective tool to prevent drunk driving because you have to be committed to the idea that drinking and driving is not an option. You must have control and composure and not give in to potential peer pressure. If you do decide to drink, whether you're at a bar or at someone's house, you should have a plan to not drive after you've been drinking. having a plan to call a cab. Also, make sure you have a $20 bill on you and reserve that money for the sole purpose for paying for a cab. If you're at a friend's house or for a party, the host should have a plan to take anyone's keys who decides to drink. After the party ends, either the person who's drunk wanting to go home either has a designated driver to take them home, or in a pinch, the host can put them up in their house for the night. If you can always keep a mindset of preventing drunk driving, you will have prevented so much hardship, both financially and emotionally. So let me recap on what I talked to you about today. I spoke to you today about how it's not worth driving while drunk. I told you how it can affect you seriously financially with fines, legal fees, attorney costs, and insurance rate hikes. How it can affect you emotionally, to including your family members, friends, coworkers. And finally, I spoke to you about what steps you can take to prevent this tragic event from even happening. I hope by me speaking to you today about this will make you think before you decide to make a foolish decision. I'm very passionate about this subject because this has affected my family in the past, and remembering what my family went through is something I don't like to think about or I don't wish on anyone else. Just remember one thing: prevention itself is the critical part to all of this. Thank you for listening.